Hey guys, welcome back, and thank you for staying around. This last 3 months have been absolutely insane, but I have a amazing testimonial that's the absolute truth. And I basically made 5 grand in my business last week by getting an alignment. And so I want to talk today about frequency alignment and getting yourself in order to accept business. Does this make sense? Like to actually be able to have the capacity for business. I've sort of briefly talked about a situation that I've been going through with an individual, and we discovered who this individual was, that they were someone that was actually in my home doing things. And so through this situation, I don't want to go too much in this situation, it's helped me to have extreme boundaries moving forward in the future. And it has taught me so many lessons that honestly, I don't think I would have learned otherwise. And so, yeah, I want to talk about how I made $5,000 in my business. And it wasn't a new funnel. It wasn't a viral post, because I haven't even been posting. I've been terrible. You guys have seen I haven't even had a video up for a while. It wasn't like a genius marketing move that I made. It was actually making my bed and going on a hot girl walk every morning for 45 minutes. I went to my mastermind event. I'm in what's called the Hive. It's a group of women. It's about I think 7 or 8 of us. I can't remember how many exactly. And I paid a crap ton of money for this year. And because of this situation, I just completely let myself go. I didn't even use the mastermind like that I'm paying tons of money for and investing into. And that changed this last couple weeks ago. It was like, I can't remember when I went. It was like 3 weeks ago. And I go to Georgia. She's actually now moving to Destin, Florida, which I'm so excited for her. The lady that runs the mastermind. But I like, that was a reset for me, because I had just found out who was responsible for this situation. And I had basically confronted them. And then basically I was able to get closure. I was able to find out all the information I needed to find out, and actually to work towards closure, because this person caused massive destruction in not just my life, but other people's lives around me. And but I had to make a decision from that. Like, was I going to let that totally control me for the rest of my life and bring my frequency down and keep my frequency down so low, like where I was at? Or was I going to use it to actually like propel me and reset and finally take my business to the level I wanted to take it to? And with that said, this is what's so crazy about everything. I believe that God is sovereign. I've said that in my videos. I believe that that means God is in total control of the universe. He is working and willing all things to the counsel of his own will. I have a cold hard belief about that. But with that said, we can still make choices whether our attitude, right? Like how we're going to react to something, how we're going to handle situations, right? In the relative, right? And are we going to allow them to make us grow? Or are they going to be something that's going to hold us back? And actually, we're going to have to go around the mountain all over again. And this time was the final, like, I was like, I will never, number one, I will never put up with this again. But number two, I will not let something like this ever affect me to the level that it affected me, where it literally destroyed my life and caused me to be suicidal. I don't think I can say that on here. And it was horrifying. It was, I like I said, I'm not at liberty to go into everything right this second, because that's not what this is about. But what it's about is the fact that I made a decision that I was resetting and I was going to change my life. And I did. And so the week before, I came back, because that's when I came back from the mastermind, and my house was just in absolute disarray. I know in my videos, like, my room looks really clean, because I don't agree. I don't recommend this, having your office in your room, but it's just how everything for me, like, the sun comes in through here. The basement's just too dark. So I actually like to have my videos filmed in my room. Okay. But I will tell you this, like, I had gotten out of really bad habits of like not making my bed and just being a slob about things. And with ADHD, we just like we're so scattered, and so I had like piles of clothes on my floor that I didn't even know which was clean, what was dirty. It was embarrassing. My garage was an absolute disaster. My basement's still not there yet. I will be working on that, but I'm saying like I spent an entire week because I haven't been working as a flight attendant due to this situation. And that allowed me the ability to actually clean out not my basement, my garage, my kitchen, deep clean my pantry, rake it out, throw away old crusty crap that we're never going to eat. Actually, for the first I organized. So I broke it down where I did one thing per day, because I knew that's another thing with us. We have to do one thing at a time. But I gave myself breaks. So like what I would do, and this is how I did it. I got up and I drank my coffee and all that stuff. And I actually didn't even start my hot girl walks until this last week, this week that I've done it for 6 straight days now. But I got up, I had my coffee, and I diddle-daddled or whatever, but then I allowed myself to work in spurts. And I worked on one thing per day. And so one day I reorganized my closet. One day I reorganized my bathroom. One day I worked, actually the garage took 2 days. The kitchen took a day. I'm trying to think what else I went through. I think I went through the linen closet and organized some of the bathroom stuff upstairs, just various things, right? And then on the final day, which was Saturday, I cleaned. Like I deep cleaned the house. I did not clean the carpets. I will get to that eventually, but here's the thing, and I heard this from another mentor of mine, that you sometimes just have to let the fires burn. Previous to this situation, I was so perfectionistic about, and it would cause me not to get anything done, because I was like, well, everything has to be just so for me to make a video. Everything has to be just so for me to, cook, right? That's another thing I had let go. I had not been cooking meals. I had not been serving my family in the way that I wanted to show up. Like I had been absent because of this situation. I was so overwhelmed and so depressed and so honestly into myself too, because I was just reacting to it constantly, that I didn't prioritize even my son's birthday, which I was ashamed of, and I made up for it. But I'm just saying, it was so stressful that I just let so many things get away. And so anyway, with that said, I was able to reset. And this is what's insane. I believe, and now this is why I'm so convinced now that frequency is a real thing. And I'll be honest with you, I'm kind of not always about the woo and about, I'm not a new ager by any means, but I do believe now 100,000% in energy and in energetics and in the law of attraction, and you believing, like you putting yourself in the position. And I have the paper, I actually printed it off. I'm going to try to see if I can upload it to here. But basically where I was at was 30, which is like the lowest freaking one, right? Let me see if I can. 30 is the lowest. It's the bottom. What is 30? That is guilt, shame, psychosis, humiliation, and hatred. I had absolute hatred for this individual after I found out. I mean, and he hated me. We've talked since then. It was over a situation that had happened 21 years ago that had really nothing to do with him. And this other person had embellished a storyline and basically turned it into this not like crazy situation. But here's the thing, and this person knows this now, if they would have just come and spoken to me, if you would just have hit head on, right? And you would have found that the story was, most of it was bogus, and there was two sides to the story also. And this would have never happened, all this stuff that this person did out of just rage, right? And destructive things that they did to not just myself but others in our household. So, but anyway, my point is that what I'm excited to tell you is that you can change your state. Actually, you can actually, and it's all about the state of mind. Like, you attract what you are, you know? And so I was attracting negativity. I was attracting hatred because I was like walking in hatred, and it was just nasty, right? But I've learned through this that this situation, this has been the biggest teacher of my life to date, that I will never allow, number one, my boundaries to be pushed like that. And I will never allow myself to ever be in a situation, like I may be in a situation, I can't help the situations I'm sometimes in, but I will never allow myself to be, or for a situation like this to take control of me and bring me so down low to where I was like this last time. It will never happen again. I don't care. I will cut the person off before I ever allow, anything like this to happen again. Cut them off emotionally, like if that's what it takes. And I will say this, I want to bring up something. There's another individual that I've been friends with for a very long time, and it's very sad, but you realize that people do not always support you. And they just don't, because of their own issues or whatever. But if there's somebody that's like against you and it, they're not for you, you don't have to end the friendship, but you have to break off that. You can't allow their energy to come in and control you. And I've done that with many people over my life. But that is something that I've changed as of now. And I just won't allow it anymore. And, I know, like, I've evaluated myself. I've been journaling. That's another thing I recommend, because it's this energy. We need to get it out. Get it out on paper. Walk. Get it out, like, of our hands. Like, I've been doing a lot of cakes lately. And so I've been able to work with my hands and get back into my artistry, which I love, and I've really realized now that I don't ever want to be away from that again. Like, I love the artistry, and as long as everything's organized, I love it. I love doing it because it's like I can work very fast, you know what I'm saying? But there's times where I've learned that you don't have to necessarily remove someone, but you have to have strong boundaries with somebody, that you are not going to let their energy control you or cause you to go a certain way that you're not going. And sometimes friendships have to end because you're going in two different directions. And I used to be needy. I think actually I'm trying to look here, like 120 is craving and need and compulsion and unfulfilled desires. And that's kind of like when I was walking in that, it was like friends that, or like I would feel like I can't lose so-and-so, even if they treat me like dog shit. I can't lose this person because they're all I have, or, just this lack, right? This lack mindset. And since this whole situation, and since this mastermind of live event, I have realized that is a frequency that I was walking in, and I'm not in that identity anymore. The people that are going to be in my life are going to be in my life. And sometimes there's seasons, by the way, where you have to let somebody go. And sadly, this person and I haven't even spoken since March, because of a situation that was blown out of proportion, that they assumed something that wasn't true. Okay. And then the thing is, this person knows me. So that's why I was like, this person knows me in and out. Why would they think that about me? Why would they think that about me? And that shows me that it's not me, it's them, in this case. And it's not always that case, but in this case, it's them. And and maybe we don't align anymore, and that's okay. Love is letting go. Love is looking for the highest good, and you release. And then if that person is, or that thing or whatever is for you, it will come back to you, But I was in such a low level of frequency that I couldn't even let the person go, because I was just, in that needy, cravey, like just ew, yuck. And so what I want to talk about today, I mean, I've already talked like basically, but about the one thing you can do, and this is all from the heart. Like I did not script this at all. I actually did have a script, but I didn't even follow it. Is getting in a place where you can just do one thing. And I'm going to recommend, okay, because it's the easiest thing to do. And it's you start walking every morning. That's it. Like you just get out of bed at the same time, make your bed and walk. Go on at least 30-minute walk. And the other thing is letting the sun in your eyes, letting the sunshine come through your eyes. Like, so I take my glasses off because these glasses have a darkening thing that happens when, what are they called? Tint or whatever. When you go outside, the sun activates it. So I take my glasses off and I allow the sun to come through my eyes for just a little bit. Because, I mean, Colorado is extremely sunny. So I have to, not too much, but it activates you. It's crazy. I have had the best week of my life this last week. The best week. And there's still stuff happening to me. There's still stuff, legal things I have to deal with because of this person and what they did. My part-time job loss. I mean, I loved being a flight attendant and I can't go back to work right now. And I'm not going to get into why, but I'm saying that the point being that, and it had to do with what this person did, false accusations and allegations and all this kind of thing. But it's okay. It's not okay, but God is working and willing it for my good. And I see that now. And I see that if I hadn't had these 2 weeks off, number one, I didn't even have, I had bid and I always got my bid. Every single time I got my bid. And I did not get my bid for the mastermind event. And so I would have had to call out, and that's points. And I don't know if you guys know about airlines, but that you get a certain amount of points and you're out. And they're really strict about it. And so I would have had to call out and get points. And I also would never have had the time or the energy because of our crazy schedule to rake out my house and finally get myself in a position to where I generated a $5,000 week last week. I mean, it's crazy. Or this week. So it blows my mind, Now, I've sold before like $5,000 a day, but I had gotten off of my horse. I had gotten off of, I stopped writing. I stopped playing the game and I had let things go. And I'm not in a position yet. And I want to talk about that later, about building a business that runs with or without you. Do you see what I mean? And that's what I've been talking to a friend of mine about building a machine, doing it the right way in the future. And that's what I plan to do. But I'm saying that's what I'm working towards right now. But right this second, I am in those stages where I still have to have my hands on the business. So, it's been amazing. It's been life-changing, but it was little things that created more big things. And so my actually next week, starting on Monday, I'm going to be going to bed 30 minutes earlier, not 10 hours earlier, but 30 minutes earlier so I can get up at 6:30 instead of 7. And I can do my hot girl walk for 45 minutes. And then I'm going to start going back to the gym. So I want to be lifting weights this next week again and getting back into the momentum of that. But I just wanted to talk about how money loves order. I said at first money loves being boring, but I'm not going to say that. Money loves order. And you want to think about it for a second. I mean, would you move into a house that's like really cluttered and chaotic and hasn't been cleaned in weeks? I mean, no, right? I hope not. Money, clients, orders, they're not going to move into a life that has no room for them. They're not. And I mean, when your house is in chaos, your business is in chaos. When your life is in chaos, you're in chaos. It doesn't like this. This is a representation, the physical is a representation of what's going on up here. Okay. So when your body's neglected, your business is neglected, it's all connected and it's not in separate boxes. It's in one system, you. So I started looking into why this actually works, and it's not just a vibe thing. It's that, like I said, it's the energetic scale of emotions. Okay, I'm gonna see if I can post this on here for you guys to have. So I'm not a scientist, okay? I'm kind of a spiritual scientist because I like to prove scriptural stuff with like real life stuff. But you know, I'm not going to sit here and tell you this is like medically proven. It actually kind of is if you actually look at Dr. Alex Lloyd's research and how there's been double-blind studies, for example, with the healing code, heart rate variability tests. So yeah, this is actually technically, but I have to say, for a disclaimer, but I'm going to tell you this: when you're anxious, I can't talk, ashamed and overwhelmed and buried, you're not open. You're just not open. And so your nervous system is in protection mode, and a body in protection mode is not a body that's making bold decisions. It's not sending a follow-up email. It's not even showing up on camera. Cause like, look at me, I haven't shown up for weeks. Right. But when you feel order, rested, clean, you know, moving your body every single day, proud of your space, right? You show up differently. You take actions that you were too tired and foggy to take before. And so those are actions, those are the actions or the alignment that I got into that generated the 5,000, not the frequency by itself. The actions, the frequency made possible, basically. So the one thing I want to bring back to you is something that I talk about all the time. I didn't overhaul my entire life in one day. I kind of did, like over a week, but I picked the one thing, you know, making my bed. Then I stacked upon that the walk, and then the third, the kitchen, and then, you know, the closet, and then the garage, and you know, that's the whole game for an ADHD brain. You don't know what you don't know, honestly, right? So ignorance can be bliss. And if I sat down and tried to map out some giant 90-day reset plan with 15 habits and a color-coded tracker, I would have quit like that same day. But instead, I just started with what was right in front of me, and the one thing, and then another. And then I didn't need a whole plan. I just needed that first step, and then everything came into, you know, fruition. So here's what I want you to do. Not like a 10-step morning routine, not any of that. Just pick the one thing, like make your bed if you don't make your bed. Make sure you get out of bed. That's another thing. Get out of bed. Don't stay in bed. Maybe it's doing the dishes before you go to sleep, okay? Instead of leaving them in the morning. I hate that, by the way. I hate dishes in the sink. 20-minute walk. At least start off with a 20 to 30-minute walk every morning. Even if you got to do it on the treadmill. But the sun does matter, okay? Just pick the one thing that you think would have a little bit more, or that would cause you to have a little bit more order. And you do it for a week, just 1 week. And then you start to build a routine. And then you can stack upon that, okay? Because anyway, the money's going to show up because it loves order. So make the room and it will come find you. That's all I have for you guys today. I hope you have an amazing it's Saturday. I think I'm post this right away. Have an amazing rest of your weekend, and I'll talk to you next time.